Help me in welcoming the woman who no longer chases money, now she only seeks purpose. The woman who no longer believes she's ugly, now she only brings beauty. And the woman who no longer sleeps on her brother's couch, now she sits on Dr. Oz's. The transformative money maven herself, Patrice Washington.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome to the show, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start with a quote of yours, and it was so powerful that I thought it was a perfect place to start. Building wealth has 100% nothing to do with money. It has 100% everything to do with you and your mindset towards money. So talk to me about your mindset when you had started to discover taking ownership, building, understanding finance, to then losing it, and what that mindset shift looked like, and then gaining it all back again.
So I grew up not learning very much about money directly. So by the time I was about 18, 19 years old and I started to have that introduction to it, I literally thought it was just about the tactical skills, right? Like many of us do. I thought it was, oh, well, now I know how to budget. I know how much money I should save. I know what are good accounts, what are not so good accounts. So I should be set for the rest of my life. Right. So when I actually ended up at the point of the recession, after creating a 7-figure business and thinking I would ride out into the sunset with this lifestyle that I had, when I lost everything, it really threw me for a loop, because I grew up, like many of us grew up, hearing that if you get good grades and you go to college and graduate and do something productive, you should be fine. And so I found myself in this place with, I was doing all the right things. So how did I still end up in this place? How did I still end up shaking my old purses for change, looking through couch cushions for change? How did I end up at the welfare office applying for an EBT card so that I could get money for food to feed my baby? I had just had a newborn baby just that year before. And it was at one of my lowest points where I was in the bathroom in the mirror, literally crying and bawling and saying, God, why me? I literally feel like I've done all of the right stuff. I've been good to people. I operate in integrity. I ran a great business. How did I get to this place? And before I knew it, my knees hit the floor and it was that uncontrollable bawl. And finally for me, I felt what I call the Holy Spirit, or that still small voice that told me to get my Bible. And so when I reached for my Bible, the verse that I found was Proverbs 17:16. And it said, what good is money in the hands of a fool if they don't have the desire to seek wisdom? And that hit me, because I was like, here I am. I was on the dean's list at the University of Southern California. I got my real estate and mortgage broker's license at 21 years old. I have all these certifications and all this stuff. I have been so good at seeking education that I had confused education for wisdom.
Oh, God, I love that.
That was the first time it hit me that you can have all the skill set in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset to match it, you're always going to probably find a way to self-sabotage and end up in the same place. And I do realize that even though there was a recession going on, there were other things that I could have done differently. And the big one for me was ask for help. I didn't know how to ask for help. I grew up in a Central American family with strong single women at the helm, and everybody just figured it out and made it happen. And if you did ask for help, people would say, figure it out and make it happen. And so I waited until my back was up against the wall, till my homes were in foreclosure, I didn't have a choice but to lay off my staff. I didn't know how to ask for help until it was really late in the game. And so for me, when I share with people about finances, I've never just wanted it to be, let me show you how to use a budget.
Right.
Let me talk to you about credit. And I did get up off that floor and I used that as a starting place, but I always knew that I needed to teach people that it was more than the money, that it was about their mindset too, and then help them bridge that gap.
That's amazing. How do you emotionally overcome that then? So okay, I need to ask for help, but when it's not innate in you, there's one thing about knowing and another thing about doing. How did you coach yourself through asking that and not feeling badly about yourself? Because I think that's where my mind goes when I had to make a transition to ask for help. I started feeling badly about myself. Oh, am I weak because I'm asking for help? And you start playing that that voice in your head.
And of course we go through this whole scenario like, what are they going to say?
Right.
Especially when you're the one that people have always come to for help.
Right.
Because the other thing was, I didn't really know how to humble myself and ask because I was always being asked.
Okay.
And so your mind tricks you at that point into believing that you're the expert. Right? You start to believe, well, oh, of course, I know it all.
Right.
So who am I supposed to go to? But you never know it all. And when I really started to think about just that, I started to get, you don't know what you don't know. And it's not about having to go cry on everyone's shoulder and tell them all of your woes. It was literally about keeping my mind focused on what is the next best step. I know I don't understand what some of this looks like, and going, I know that this is what I want to do, but I don't know what I don't know. So can you help me fill in some gaps? And I was pleasantly surprised at how many people love to talk about themselves.
Yes.
How many people love to talk about themselves, but also seriously, how many people were willing to help. I have had, I think, just such a marvelous journey over the last decade because I've had support of people just every step of the way. And even when I didn't know what to ask, people have literally just swooped in and just given me a new idea or exposed me to something that made me go, okay, this was the next thing. This was the thing. And I would just say, getting over yourself and being more committed to the bigger picture than how you feel about what someone may say in the moment, because usually that's a story that we make up. It's not even real.